This is the VDPC Podcast. Welcome to the VDPC Podcast. I'm Jack.
I'm No.
I'm Rich.
And I'm Bruce.
And this is the first ever cast. Thank you for being patient if you've actually added us. It has taken a phenomenal amount of time to do this. And what we're going to do, this is just going to be a podcast about anything, everything, anything you want, really, to be honest, because we're just making this up as we go along at the best of times. So tonight we're going to talk about the whole New Year period, and Happy New Year.
And Happy New Year to you too. Yeah, between the four of us that we went to do different parties, the one we went to at our friend's house was actually really good. Nice, quiet, chilled party. Must have been, 10, 15 people, I'd say.
I was going to say, well, my one was probably about the same actually, but obviously we were in two different places at different times. You know, that typical thing where one person's organised a party, half the group hasn't been invited, but then there's another party, so the group gets split. But as much as that does suck, it was quite nice in a weird way. Like, I didn't get to see you three at New Year's, but I think, you know, generally it's better to be split up and be a bit smaller.
Yeah, it was nice not having, say, 40 or 50 people crammed into the same house for a change, really.
And the volume of the countdown gets boring after 5, if I'm perfectly honest. But like, Rich, how was the party, really?
Yeah, the party wasn't too bad. It wasn't too bad. It was really quite good, actually. It's just nice to go to our friend's house without there being any drama for a change. What a surprise. I know, shocker.
What about you, No?
Yeah, I was at the same party as these two, and what we got here. What I hate is when during this whole period people are telling you how overhyped this whole, like, the whole New Year's Eve is, and how, like, you're expected to have a good time. But because of that, you lower your own expectations to actually end up having a great time just with friends and that.
I was going to say that is actually quite a cracking point. Even if you did have to refer to your notes, and to listeners, it has been mashed up to a degree where there is notes on all our phones of what the points are, what we're talking about. Yeah, it's getting there. It's getting there. But yeah, I totally agree. Like, everyone always has that expectation that New Year's is going to be somewhat shit, because it's never, or well, with us. And if the listeners have got a different point of view, feel free to comment. But we are the worst people at organising it, and it's always like 2 days before. So you're thinking, oh crap, you know, who's going to be there, whatever. But it is quite always nice just to hang out and drink and barely get into midnight.
Yeah, for our party, I didn't even hear about it to the 30th, the day before, and even that was because of an just a side comment by someone else. I mentioned that there was a couple people going, and I thought, bugger it, we'll have a go at that. Let's go there.
I heard about it on New Year's Eve at about 9:30 at this other party, just because it got talked about, and I heard that it was off, because it was off for a time, wasn't it? If I'm right. If not, this is awkward that I just didn't get invited. But yeah, they were all talking at our party, and they were like, well, Perry's having his party, and he called DJ up and said to him, like, fair play to him, called him up and was a bit like, I've got 2 parties, please don't feel iffy.
Yeah, I think the words he used was, I don't want to poach the people that are going to your party. And he said, yeah, he invited DJ, which was quite funny in the fact that DJ was throwing another party.
To be fair to Perry, he only did his own thing because DJ lives he lives basically in a forest somewhere, in an enchanted fucking forest. It's very hard to get to, and the only reason Perry had it is because a lot of people couldn't get there, so he thought he might as well.
It is a pain. It's not a forest, it's a farm, and it is in the middle of nowhere. Yeah, it was a pain in the ass getting home, if I'm honest. But the only great thing is, with the period of New Year's, we had 2 extra days off, so I was loving it. Like it wasn't a massive deal for me to get home quick, but it was nice though. I think this year was such a good New Year for us lot. Even if we weren't together, as you said, there was no drama. There was a smaller group of people, so you don't really have to spend half your night circling a whole room of people, like trying to chat to everyone, because that's quite hard, I reckon, in big groups.
I think one of the main points of kind of any real party is just to kind of enjoy yourself. And I mean, I think this year everyone did, and I think that's really good. I mean, it makes a change for us, definitely.
Yeah, there was just enough people that we could all sit in the same room, and there be all of us there, and not have to shout throughout the house. It made a change, really.
I think I'll go first with this next point. Most memorable moment of the party for me was after the countdown and the initial hey, we made it, crazy. What was it? We were in the living room, and the host and the other guy who owns the house as well. So the 2 hosts, that seems really disrespectful now I worded it like that, basically went to bed, and there was a few of us left. So we thought what would be a good idea is to YouTube a Day to Remember videos, which is amazing at 5 in the morning. So we're just singing along, and it only did twig that the tortoise was up. So we thought, we'll get little Donatello out and we'll sing while Donatello is just doing circles in the living room. And when you're absolutely wasted, it's the most fucking weird thing I've ever seen in my life. Just going, if it means a lot to you, there's a tortoise on the floor.
I'm not going to lie, Jack. I think that comment alone is going to get the RSPCA involved in our podcast, and that's a little bit of a worry on my mind at the moment. But we'll move on for the time being. I think my most memorable kind of part of this New Year's was actually kind of during the countdown and the kind of couple of minutes after the countdown. And the reason for this is because I was eating Chinese in my friend's garage on my own, just doing my own thing, and I was enjoying it, and I thought, fuck the countdown. The countdown don't mean shit anymore.
Is that when Perry came in again, really drunk, and for some reason decided hitting the punching bag?
No, that was a short while after Perry decided to go beat in the meat sack, as it were, and not in the sexual kind of way.
The thing is, he has this pull-up bar right above his punching bag, so when he's doing pull-ups, he doesn't take it down, just rubs up against it.
It's all gone a bit Pete Tong in Perry's garage, bless him.
It's all slightly sensual.
Yeah, it's all a bit sensual. I'm surprised he doesn't have Barry White playing in there at all times or something.
Wow. Well, I mean, what about your one, Dan, for that party? Because you're normally quite observant, and when you get trashed, you get fucked.
No, not particularly. To be fair, I didn't drink massive amounts. Actually, no, I lie. Let's backtrack just a second. It's got to be getting people to drink the things I got people to drink. See, I don't know if anyone has heard yet, but I decided to take along a rather bizarre collection of ingredients to put into drinks, and I'd acquired even more by this point. And so I tried to acquire some shot glasses, but Perry, being Perry, had just the one. So it was a sort of quick fire round of get whatever we can into that glass, get it down his neck before we can make another one. Some of them we had sort of mango juice, mango syrup even, Jack Daniels, and I don't know, lemonade, or something equally bizarre in there. Just random things for people to drink.
Talking about dirty cocktails, I just had a flashback. It was just after midnight, so we're talking about 1 in the morning maybe, and it got to a point. Now, if you've ever been round our good friend DJ's house, I'm sure know a few of you have, there gets to a drunken point in the night where DJ thinks he's a bartender, and this bowl is obviously his punch bowl, and everyone who helps DJ just becomes a master at cocktail making, obviously. So at the night, everyone's already trashed, and they've made this thing. It wasn't liquid, it was a thing. There was a layer of skin on it in the morning, so I don't know what the fuck they put in it. But at the night, it tasted amazing. So of course, everyone hanging out of their asses in the morning, turn around and go, what the hell is that? So me being me was like, last night, I remember that was amazing. So I want to test how retarded drunk Jack is to sober Jack. I nearly died. I nearly threw up, and I hardly ever throw up from drinking. It was like, after peeling the skin away, it was just terrible. It was just,
It's got a skin, it's probably alive.
Or an orange.
Right, for my most memorable New Year's, I think it was when the clock struck 12 and then a load of people came outside. Like our neighbours all just bowled outside, and we thought it was a great idea to first of all shout at them. Nice stuff, nothing mean. And then we just went and joined them. Some of us, well, some of the people were so drunk they thought, yeah, we'll go, because we got invited to their party. Well, it was a family, so they were like, yeah, we're gonna go drink with those people. It's like, no, they're about 50 and they have kids, so yeah.
Crazy. Sounds like you've had quite an interesting old time then. And to be honest, who wouldn't want to drink with 50-year-olds with kids? Just shouldn't. So, okay then. New Year's resolutions. Have you made any?
No, I haven't. There's no point. You can't really fail if you don't try. So, last year I made loads of them just to do with fitness and getting into shape. I failed all of them. I think 2 or 3 years running. So this year I'm gonna basically hit them all.
You're so depressing. God damn, that was. Oh, that just made me die a little inside. You're just so defeatist on yourself. That's amazing. I love it. Well, either way, my New Year's resolution, I think I have a couple. One of them was to give up smoking. And now I'm not going to do this the kind of conventional way where most people say, oh yeah, I'm going to give up on New Year's Eve or on the clock strike 12. I'm going to slowly, my goal is to give up by New Year's Eve 2012. So I mean, it's actually a realistic goal as opposed to normal people's, oh yeah, I'm going to do it there and then, which is usually ends up being a load of bullshit. So I thought it might work.
Yeah, it's not a bad idea actually. You usually hear it on the night, and then by 1 o'clock they're back outside smoking again. Personally, I can't say I've set any for this year. I very rarely do. I know what my own motivation is like. It's sort of nil to none. Yeah, nil to none at the best of times. So I thought, well, let's just stick with that and not even bloody bother.
I've made a few. I've actually made quite a few, if I'm honest. I think about 5, 6. But the way I look at it is, I'm trying to do what you're doing, Rich. Is but one of them I'm definitely going to succeed at, unless I die. Then I won't succeed. One of my New Year's resolutions is to survive this year, and I think that's quite a realistic goal. I'm thinking I can do it. So at least if I fail the other ones, which is like get into shape and so on, at least if I survive, then at least I've kept one. So win. See, fuck you, defeatist.
Yeah, fingers crossed for you, Jack, not to die this year. Anyway, going back to Richard's point of quitting smoking on New Year's Eve, it's impossible to quit anything whilst you're pissed, especially smoking. I only smoke when I drink, so...
Yeah, kind of had that thing where I was doing the typical piss thing, smoking, and then I said beforehand, I was like, New Year, I am not going to smoke. And the first thing I did when the clock was on, I was like, oh, let's get a cigarette then. So 3 seconds in, I failed. 3 seconds into a new year. That is a fucking record. But... I mean, that's the thing though, people always do that. When you're wrecked and you barely know what you're doing at the best of times, how are you going to do that? Anyway, Arnold /No, we all might die this year because it's end of day, so fuck you. I've got as good chance as you have. Which I know Dan has a lot to say about this. Especially if I go, Dan, I believe it. I believe the world's going to end. Oh God, he's shaking his hand.
You see, my whole problem with this is knowing full well that if anything does happen on that particular day, and it will be put down to, oh, it was predicted, it was on this Mayan calendar, which wasn't really a calendar at all. Like, don't even get me started on that. But if anything happens by sheer coincidence, which it will be, it's going to be put down to that. And it's just ridiculous. There's no reason for it whatsoever.
Okay, I'm actually going to make you kind of get into this because I'm actually personally interested, so I'm sorry listeners if you're not, but unlucky. My theory on the whole Mayan calendar thing is, so if you do believe it, I don't apologise if you get offended, you're fucking, I'm joking. Have you noticed when you buy a calendar, right, it has an end date? And that end date is the kind of, you know, like these Mayans didn't go, we're going to make an infinite calendar, because that is fucking stupid. It's going to end at some point. And just because they're complex means they're great at making calendars. Leave the poor bastards alone.
And the fact that the whole thing has been decoded from a big hunk of stone, I mean, they haven't exactly got all the room in the world to put any more dates on, have they?
What I personally hate most about the whole 2012 end of the world thing is that people think that these Mayans, this ancient civilization has more knowledge and more and better understanding of how planets and how basically. No.
I know what you're trying to say before you just went beep and flatlined. What you're trying to say is we have better technology, so we understand everything a lot better than they would, rather than them. Well, it's a bit of a mystery how they knew so much, but then again, it's sort of like, why? Who cares? Like, they were intelligent. It's not that much of a surprise, is it? We've come a long way. But I think, again, like, didn't they all disappear? I'm saying this vaguely because I kind of recall it being mentioned, and that was sort of half the whole lore of it.
To be honest, their calendar ended before the other one had the chance to kick in, so they all just.
No, it wasn't a case they disappeared. It was during the time that the Spanish were just discovering America, and they were much more advanced as a civilization at the time and wiped them out, no problem whatsoever.
So they didn't vanish, listeners. They all died horrifically. So little good their calendar did for them. Or maybe they made the calendar just in time, that they ended it on a date and then made like an end of day sketch. So they were like, one last fuck you to the Spanish. But I'm just more interested that the fact that, like, obviously more and more, it's crazy how more and more things come about it. Like, originally it was a Mayan calendar. This was years ago, and that was the main thing. And now it's all about black holes and aligning with our galaxy, and a random planet from behind the sun circling around the planet. There's loads of them. It's amazing.
And the best part is that if anyone actually looks at it, I mean, it sounds very, very barely logical if you don't know any of the science behind it whatsoever. It's like, okay, that makes sense in a way, but if you know any of the science behind it whatsoever, even the slightest amount, that none of that matters in the slightest. It doesn't matter that things end up being in a line behind things. I mean, we have eclipses every year, near enough, and what does that do? Like, come on, if it was that much of a big thing, it would happen every time.
I can look at the sun, no problems. Woohoo! But it's more like, I think the way I look at it is these conspiracies make sense, but with any story, you always make a story to make sense. Like, it's all well and good. I suppose, as you said, like science, right? Science and the story of why it is is perfectly fine. Like if someone said there is a planet behind the sun because this ancient civilization had this many like thingies in the painting, and then blah blah blah, that's all well and good because that makes sense. Like if it's true, but if we go into scientific point of view, you're wrong. Outright, you're an idiot.
See, the problem with this whole Mayan bullshit with me is I couldn't really care less. If the world ends, the world ends. If it doesn't, oh well, you know, life goes on, apparently.
Right, who's being defeatist now? Yeah, it's Rich.
There's a difference between being a defeatist and being a realist.
Right, anyway. Moving on. Yeah, I don't care what happens on 2012, really. Well, like anyone here, I'm still rooting for zombies, but I'm not even sure if that's on the table.
Hang on, if there's a planet behind the sun and can orbit, if it can orbit around Earth and then mess up our things and aliens will come down and kill us, because that is one of the theories, zombies is not that far out. I refuse to believe zombies isn't, okay, I've played too much Left 4 Dead and watched Dawn of the Dead too many times. I'm ready, Arnold. I'm ready for this. There's some skanking to this brilliant trumpet tune. But I reckon it's about time, actually, for a bit of an intermission. If Bruce/Dan is okay for one. So I will hand you over.
We are indeed ready for one. If you give me just a couple of seconds to get a track lined up and ready to go. Okay, right, we're ready to go. After that lovely little jingle there, we're going to start off with a track from a Scottish producer called Rusty, and this is called Hover Traps. Right, next up we've got a track from a local Swindon producer called Kilo with Crashland. Next up, we've got Dysphemic and Miss Eliza with Tunnel Vision. And finally up, we've got Ho No Ho by Experimental.
Thank you very much, Danla, for that. That was awesome as ever, and very squelchy and bob your head up and down very fast. Well, as we were talking on the intermission, Rich did have a good point. We did leave you on a very depressing note, and hopefully Danla's music's uplifted you slightly. And we're going to go on to the next bit and highlights of 2011 for you guys. Who's got some decent ones? I think Rich, you do, because you want to be positive.
Well, not necessarily decent, but highlights of 2011 is one of them is keeping down a full-time job for about a year now. Actually, it's been quite good. It's not very well paid, but it will do. I'm quite enjoying myself and hoping it will take me somewhere. Who's next?
Nice, that's actually quite a good one. How good's that? Yeah, Mr. Defeatist over there. Shut up, Arnold. My one would have to be highlights. It would have to be every single time. Download and Reading Festival for me. They were some cracking highlights. Just the atmosphere, the feeling. There's something like they were both my second times there, so I was more prepared, and it was just incredible to see all my favourite bands really. So combined with 2011, 2010, I saw everyone I really wanted to see.
Yeah, definitely. The festivals are one of my possibly favourite highlights from last year. And as you said, like, being unprepared for a festival is the worst thing that can happen to you. My first Reading was the year before, and I didn't bring anything really. I didn't bring food, which really doesn't make sense when you think about it. I mean, you sort of needed to live off of.
Well, I'll explain to you, Arnold. You were trying to be defeatist at a festival, and you ended up quite self-destructive by the sound of things.
He didn't quite realise the difference between defeatism and realism.
Do you think living in a tent means that you don't need food?
Well, I was hoping. No, I didn't bring a chair either, so I had to stand for most of it. Anyway.
And say, along with Jack, and I'm sure Arnold as well, I did quite enjoy the festivals this year. But the main problem I had with the festivals was I got way too drunk and I missed most of the headliners. I missed 2 out of 3 of the headliners. But, you know, beggars can't be choosers, and I suppose I've got to remember the good times out of it, really.
You end up drinking all night long after, let's say, seeing a few bands, and then you're hanging just when the bands start playing. So what wins really? Sitting and eating your cold beans and whatever, like, or going to see a band and standing there for an hour.
Not only that, I had the thing where I started drinking so much, I started sketching out and going out of my mind, where I was walking past people and I was like, everyone is looking at me! Ah! And then the only problem is they probably were looking at me because I was pissed and I was just wobbling everywhere.
Yeah, I wouldn't be too surprised at that, Jack, and I'm sure I wasn't quite as paranoid as you, but I'm sure people were looking at me, considering I was walking around in Wellingtons and a dressing gown.
Another note on being unprepared. Basically, in the first Reading, the last day we were not allowed fire. So this year I thought, what am I gonna do? I could because we all sit outside, we're not allowed a campfire, so we're gonna freeze to death. So my solution to that was drink as much and as quickly as possible.
He's planning on getting his beer coat on.
That wasn't a beer coat, that was a fucking body bag. Because I got to the point where I was so drunk, I was trying to do wall spins on a wall that everyone pisses against. And then, but yeah, we during the whole weekend we thought it was a good idea to basically tie everyone's tents together. We called it the monkey trap. So I had to basically run in and out of that. Twice I failed. Close-lined myself pretty badly, but yeah.
I love how you say this is a highlight of your year. It's fantastic news. Oh no, Reading Festival as a whole, after laying in piss, tripping yourself up on something that your friends created. It's just fantastic to know you had such a hot, good shit time.
We'll tie that in quickly then. What won't you miss about 2011? Actually, sorry, rude. Shit. What was your highlight? Sorry, Dan.
It's fine, don't worry about me. To be fair, I didn't actually go to any of these festivals with the rest of the guys. But on a similar note, the best part had to be the random trips to different places that I took throughout the year, most of the time on my own. At one point, I went to Germany with our friend of ours, Ryan, for a long weekend for my birthday. Went to Camberley and Fleet, where I used to live, for another long weekend to see the people that I used to know there. These people I haven't seen for, say, 4 or 5 years at a time.
Nice. That's quite a good one. So what? Okay, now I'll go back to what I said before I completely ignored Dan. By the way, to the listeners, it wasn't because I deliberately didn't see him. He was just swaying quite happily, and I felt like I'd be rude to stop his lovely sway. What won't you miss about 2011?
I don't know. It's quite a long year, really. There was nothing overly bad that happened, I suppose. Nothing that instantly pops to mind. It was just either plain sailing or something good happening.
I think my kind of... Well, no, I didn't really have a downer of the year because nothing was that bad that I can't remember. Nothing was that bad that I can remember it. So if it's not that bad, then it couldn't have been that bad. So yeah, my year was pretty mellow, to be honest.
I think my thing that I won't miss is being as bored as I used to be, because I've started up so much new stuff towards the end of the year and beginning in the new year. I just remember being fucking bored and doing the typical thing of just like partying to like fill time, just because there was nothing else to do. But now with all the new activities like rock climbing, ice skating, and doing this and a few other things, like I won't be brain dead, and I will not miss that. I will just love being active, so give me like tits up to that. But Arnold, have you actually thought of anything yet?
I haven't really, because I'm not sure. To be honest, I take it as it goes, and unless I lose a limb, I'm not going to remember any minor downers that I had during the year.
Fucking hell, from defeatist to something different.
What about being unemployed for the whole of the year?
Is that what you meant by shoving the mic in my face? Yeah, I have been unemployed. I have been trying to look for a job. No. Now Bin Laden's in there and it's completely out of context. Well, basically I was going to talk about Bin Laden and things you miss as a joke. But I do feel as if I have to say that because, you know, yeah.
Ah, that was brilliant. Rich, that could not have gone any better if you tried to. So, 2012, New Year. lots of new shit going on with us lot anyway, as the VDPC in a whole, because we are actually quite low key now, if you want to call it that. It's not, we don't really embrace it as much as we usually do. So for you guys, what's like your exciting bits? Like, what are you going to look forward to in 2012?
Well, I'm excited about being broke for the whole year because I have. I'm not being defeatist, right? Because I'm going to university, and that's really. I am looking forward to that immensely because I plan to go to Bournemouth, which is where a lot of our friends go, and so there will always be company, and I am really looking forward to the university lifestyle.
What? Being a sponge on society? I'm glad you want to waste taxpayers' money like that. It makes me happy. No, you're not getting the mic. No. I think what I'm looking forward to in the new year is kind of just taking another step in my career towards being a professional douchebag. I'm getting there. It's not so bad. And I think just looking forward to the little things in life that just kind of spring up randomly as they come, like life does.
Taking another step in your career. I swear people in China get paid more than you do.
Maybe they do, but you know, the Chinese work hard. I don't.
So your thing you're looking forward to most, Arnold, is being broke, which you already are. And to Rich's comment, sponge in society, you've been employed in it for your whole year, so you're already a sponge. You're just going to be a sponge with a bigger debt.
I haven't got a debt yet. That's to come. That's to look forward to in 2012. That's my yeah.
Is that another highlight you're looking forward to? Actually taking out that initial loan and being like, I just fucked the government. I'm fucking everybody right now.
I've got a few actually. I'm gonna look forward to the Olympics for one, because the Olympics is gonna be fun for a few reasons. One, we're gonna be shit, and it's gonna be funny. And two, it's gonna be interesting to see if the sun and all the rest of it is true with the terror threats, because it's gonna be well interesting if the 100-meter hurdles turns into a sniper race of like who can escape the red dot. Or, like, you know, the discus is actually a bomb, or the javelin is actually aimed for one of the referees because it's an Al-Qaeda person claiming to be a separate country. Just stuff like that, you know, little things. But I think the most thing I'm looking forward to is this year, rather than festivals. I think I've given up on that. I'm going to Cyprus with Dana. So there's going to be a few other holidays and stuff.
Yeah, same as that. Speaking of that holiday, as soon as you get it booked up, I will have the money in several weeks or so, and then we will get on it. As long as that, I'm hoping to take a trip to Oxford for a long weekend, actually. I mean, it's only just up the road from where we are in Swindon, but it'll be quite nice to just be somewhere different for a few days.
Simple as that, really. I think that's... as much as like I think the whole year in general is going to be great, is like, well, as you've said, Arnold, it's just a different like to the whole thing. Like previous years it's been really samey, but like when you go to university or all these different trips planned, it's nice for a different change of scenery. And also the clubs here are crap, so it's always good to see an actual proper nightlife place, and uni lifestyle is actually quite bitchin'.
Yeah, it is rather depressing how shit Swindon is in general. You only realise it when you go to somewhere else, a nice city for a change.
I think half the times I dream to actually live at Butlins. I dream a dream, and that dream is to live at Butlins, because I think Butlins would be a lot more kind of exciting than Swindon.
I don't know, I used to live down in Minehead near the Butlins there, and as far as I could tell, the only exciting thing they had happen was they had WWE there twice a year, at best. And currently, actually, one of my friends does live there, works for Butlins themselves, and it's not as exciting as it make out. The most excitement they end up getting is putting on free parties themselves.
Wow, you made any illusion of Butlins I had seem fucking shit now. I don't want to go now. I wanted to go.
There's a reason it's a family park.
So really, fuck you, Rich. You got to say it on the mic now.
I said there's a reason it's a family park, and that's so Jack can molest the whole family.
Son of a bitch. Yeah, probably, Rich. I tried thinking of a clever comeback, but yeah, it just didn't happen. So when shit like that comes at you, bro, you just sort of go with it. But embrace the piracy. That's exactly it. So Dan has been to pee, and he's been away. So did you actually even know what question we asked? Like, what you're looking forward to 2012? I know you just sort of went along with the holidays, and that might be your general answer, but like, just in case there was something else to add, you just sort of came in and went along with it?
Yeah, pretty much. I had no idea what was going on. Was just chilling along with the general gist of things. And in fact, to add to what I had earlier, and to what someone said about getting out of Swindon for nights out and things, this year I've gone down to London a couple of times, and Bristol actually, for particular nights, and it's ended up costing a lot of money, upwards of £100 each time. But for the nights that they've been, it's been worth it every single time.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna sort of take a leaf out of your book, if you will, just to get, even if it is just like book a hotel in a town and not necessarily have a general night to go on. Like, if there's a weekend, it doesn't matter if there's nothing going on in that town. It is just a weekend away somewhere. Like, I would love to go party in Newquay for a weekend and maybe experience the beach in the sort of surfing style. Like, try new things and jazz like that, because that's what life should be about, is being like, do you remember 2012, before we all died? And I tried eating a surfboard because I was drunk and tried surfing. You're all looking at me like I'm a weirdo, but it does sound like me. But looking at the time that we're on, I think it's about time for another lovely intermission. What do you reckon, Dan/Bruce?
Yeah, why not? I think this time we're going to go straight back in with another track from the Rusty, the guy that we started with earlier. This one is called Ultra Fizz. Next up, we've got Brummer's Moonbaton remix of Mr. Happy by Hazard and Distorted Minds. Next up, we've got Black Mike featuring Scarpion with Smoking on the Highest Grade.
Smoking on my highest grade. From my early days, I meditate. Told me I get paid. Make money, live like in the shade. Smoking purple push vodka with my lemonade. Smoking on my highest grade. From my early days, I meditate. Told me I get paid. Make money, live like in the shade. Smoking purple push vodka with my lemonade. I want the 85 bourbon, 450 big block, no hard legs, all freaks with the West spot. Truck on boom, bam, knock, knock, pocket full of bubble kush bags and a fresh knot. All cause I hustle hard, spitting crack rock. Same niggas that was blocking want their hands in the pot. Now, keep it moving like a stopwatch. Niggas ain't selling, so I'm closing up the spot. I'm about to clean house, open brand new shop. Work in the drought, y'all trying to recop. I remember niggas pay me to the left, I ain't stop. Working on a master plan, we on the top. I've been smoking on the highest grade from my early days, meditating on how to get the pay. I'm back on the block, fresh from the D, and the Dale too, got the eagle on me. What's up? Smoking on my highest grade from my early days, I meditate, told me I get paid. Make money, live like in the shade. Smoking purple push vodka with my lemonade. Smoking on my highest grade from my early days, I meditate, told me I get paid. Make money, live like in the shade. Smoking purple push vodka with my lemonade. Hands to the left of them, shatters to the right. Hard circling, oh what a night. Just an everyday up in the limelight. That the gooey goes rolling, looking like a nightlight. Started from a seed, made it to a tree. Start from a nickel, made it to a king. Work my way up the alphabet, made it to
Right, next up with the last track of the last intermission, we have a free track from the legend in the dubstep scene that is Scream with Hurt the Soundboy.
that's why people just
so that wraps up the topic of the evening, the new year, 2012, and all that is to come. Hope you've all a good new year this year, and are still here to experience the next one with us. If anyone's got any tracks they want to send in to be played, get a bit of airtime, either to be played in the background as we go or in a mix done by myself, feel free to send them over to vdpcpod@gmail.com. Or even if you've got a short 10-15 minute mix that you want to send in and get some airtime, feel free to send it over.
Thank you very much, Dan. That was, again, an awesome intermission. What we're going to do now is I'm just going to let the other guys talk. We're going to have features per podcast. And as Dan said, as he's told you the Hotmail, we will post details on our Twitter and Facebook on the Hotmail. And then just go along with that. So we'll take whatever comments and stuff and let him deal with the music, because, yeah, fuck that. So I shall pass you over to the others and let them talk about their own personal features.
Right, first of all, I'd like to say thanks very much for listening this far. As you can probably tell, this podcast isn't about a whole lot. It hasn't got a crude structure, but to bring in some sort of order, we've decided to do features, and this will kick in next podcast, but for the time being, we're just going to explain what our roles are. My job is basically to bring in a randomer every single week, aka someone from the VDPC, just to chime in really.
No, Arnold, just bring some random person off the street. Bring a hobo, bring a busker, bring anybody, bring anyone.
As long as you all pretend to my parents that we know them, then it'll be perfectly fine by me.
I say, Arnold, I have a quest for you, whether you choose to accept it or not. I want you to kidnap a queen and bring her to our podcast. What do you think to this?
No.
Right, we need to set up a small army of listeners and make this a reality. Come on, guys, pull together now.
That's got to be a challenge accepted, I think, right there.
Yeah, I'm taking that now as a... Oh, yeah?
That's not even realistic. Come on. It's not even funny.
Oh, is that the defeatist coming out in you again, Arnold? What are you like? Come on, man up a little.
That's exactly what I'm like. Alright, anyway. Rich.
Yeah, well, obviously Arnold's got his feature of bringing people in. Obviously, apparently it's meant to be somebody from the VDPC, but, you know, I want to bend the rules a little, but we'll have to see how that goes.
It's not in the VDPC, she has to do a death point if she wants to.
Well, yeah, she has to do the initiation death point. I'm not quite sure how our body would take that.
To anyone listening in, this is the first you've heard of any of this nonsense with other people being in the VDPC and the death point as such. Not to worry, all will be explained rather shortly.
But anyway, away from Arnold's shenanigans, and onto my feature. Basically, my feature is all about the kind of news in and or around our town. But I'm going to put a little twist on it, so it should be quite interesting. I hope you're listening to it. And that's all I'm going to explain for the time being. You'll have to tune in for the next episode to find out what that's all about. Thank you.
Thank you. We normally would have a fifth member, but he's engaged with activities or a girl, so it's an eighth, or it might be a man. He might be engaged in a man. His feature is question time, so any questions you got to, well, obviously the first one, Dan, Rich, Arnold or myself, feel free to ask us anything. It could be retarded and we would still answer it truthfully, because we'll probably relate. As Dan said, this whole VDPC thing and the whole death point crap, no one's actually explained. Basically what it is years and years ago, we went to a fancy dress party and a good 20 of us dressed as pirates, and you can't go 20 plus pirates without a pirate crew name, and none of us really like rum at the time, because we've just become more alcoholic and degenerate. So we basically called ourselves the Vodka Drinking Pirate Crew, VDPC. The podcast was my stupid, retarded idea, just because I thought, fuck it, why not? It's something to do. And a bunch of our friends apparently like listening to us ramble on about crap, so who am I to deny them that, really?
Well, I mean, we'll see if they really like us rambling shit, because, well, they'll listen and we'll get regular listeners, Jack. 4 regular listeners.
Us. That means one of us is not going to listen.
True, but Nathan might be engaged in a man, so I think, he might have, well, actually it might be 6, depending if he gets the other one involved.
No, that just shows how terrible our maths is from school, eh, Jack?
Yep. Well, I think that's literally us wrapped up for the evening, if I'm honest. Oh wait, no! Oh, Bruce!
Steady on. Just so if anybody had the mad idea of getting in contact with us or following us, you can find us on Facebook at theusualfacebook.com/VDPC Podcast. All of these, for the time being, will be uploaded via SoundCloud at soundcloud.com/VDPC. On Twitter, again, is the same as Facebook, with twitter.com/VDPC Podcast.
Ignore my previous comment at the Hotmail. I've just been quietly told I'm a fucking idiot. Cheers, guys. It's at Gmail. I apologise. I don't even know the own fucking email address of my own podcast. Fucking amazing. Well, good night, and if you have listened, thank you very much from all of us here. I'm Jack.
I'm No.
I'm Rich.
And I'm Bruce, and we're going to take you out with a creation of my own called Tequilism.